All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
The head of Hungary, a very tough, strong guy, Viktor Orban. Did anybody ever hear of him? Probably.
Yeah, he's an anti-Semite.
Considered very powerful within his country and outside of his country. Not exactly loved by some of the European nations because he does his thing. He didn't allow millions of people to invade his country. He allowed nobody to invade. Zero. He had nobody. So he doesn't have crime, and he doesn't have the problems that they're having in other countries where millions of people are allowed to go in. But they were interviewing him 2 weeks ago, and they said, what would you advise President Obama? The whole world seems to be exploding and imploding.
Obama?
And he said, it's very simple. He should immediately resign, and they should replace him with President Trump, who kept the world safe. And I'm not just talking the United States. China respected him. Russia respected him. North Korea respected him. And he used another word other than respect, he said fear. But I don't want to use that word.
Okay, this is really getting twisted, okay? This is so unbelievably bad. He's now, listen, him and Tucker Carlson and all of the anti-Semitic white supremacists in this country, the Nick Fuentes types, they have all been drooling over Viktor Orban, who is, because white people commit no crime. You understand that's the message there. White people do not commit crime. And so if you keep your country all white, you will have no crime. This is what white supremacists believe, and this is what Donald Trump is telling them is true at a podium, and showing like an enormous amount of love for a unbelievable white supremacist in Hungary while he forgets who the president of the United States is currently. The man is off his rocker, okay? So I want to know, like, not just from people who would vote for Donald Trump, but what do we all think America would look like if this man is sworn in again? What do you expect will happen if Donald Trump becomes president again? Do you think it would be a time of peace and prosperity? Or do you think it would be a time of camps and mass deportations and, a huge amount of pushback in this country and, a partitioning of this? I mean, I don't know what people think is going to happen, if he, wins. So I would like to know what you think is going to happen if he wins.
I'd really like to know how the Cuban community in Miami that voted really heavily Trump last time he was up, how they will reconcile a Trump vote with what he just said.
Because they'll never be deported. This was wet foot, dry foot. You understand? They were never here illegally. They were allowed to come if you got your feet on our soil. You could stay. We had special immigration for Cuba. We didn't have the kind of immigration policies that we have for everybody else for Cubans, and that's kind of why Cubans, don't care what happens to other immigrants. That's number one. Number two, they're Republican because Ronald Reagan gave amnesty to every immigrant in this country, and they were like down with that. But now that they got this guy, this strong man, this guy that sounds like Hitler, they're like all about that too. I guess it's their comfort zone. I don't know. I honestly don't know what old Cubans are thinking these days. I know what young Cubans are thinking these days, and it ain't that. They're not for Trump, okay? They're just not. But it's really, it's more than Hispanics, okay? It's more than that. This is about, he's talking about blood. He's talking about, blood and soil. He's talking about mass camps. He's talking about deportations, All that's missing is the trains will run on time. Do you know? I mean, it's so completely fascist. Do you know where the Vermin thing comes from? I had to look it up myself because I didn't want to misquote Adolf. God help me. So this is the quote from Adolf about why it was okay to cleanse through death Jews. He said, nature is cruel. Therefore, we are also entitled to be cruel. You see, when I tell you cruelty is the point of this remaining party, I swear to God, it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. It's how autocrats sell themselves. They tell you, we will be more cruel to people you don't like than anybody else that you could choose, so choose me. I will get retribution for you. I will get even for you. I mean, it's unbelievable. But anyway, he wrote, nature is cruel, therefore we are also entitled to be cruel. When I send the flower of German youth into the steel hail of the next war, without feeling the slightest regret over the precious German blood that is being spilled, should I not also have the right to eliminate millions of an inferior race that multiplies like vermin? You see how that could play, here today. You also see how that plays, overseas in certain confines, in certain environs. And you can see how it's just a small leap from massive anti-Semitism and all lives matter to camps. You can see how that happens, can't you now? Can't you? And so when the RNC chairperson, when Ronna McDaniel was on the Sunday shows yesterday, now, Sunday, the reason why I wasn't here yesterday, I had propofol yesterday. Propofol. You know what propofol is? Michael Jackson knows what propofol is. I think we all need propofol. I think everybody should have propofol. If I could, I would give propofol to everybody, because once you have that, you just, you don't care. It was like the most peaceful I had been for the entire 4 seconds that I had before I was, knocked out. I loved it. I grabbed Maria, the anesthesia nurse. I grabbed her arm. I said, "Oh, Maria, thank you so much. This is the most peace I've had in I don't know how long." She goes, "Okay, she didn't push the plunger all the way. She let me sit there for a minute and enjoy." God love Maria. What a great gal. I wish I could do it every day. Honestly. Propofol? Are you kidding? Michael Jackson. So when I was in the recovery room, I said, can I have some propofol to go? Yeah. Well, they're humorless because, it's like, roll them, in the recovery. I mean, these outpatient centers, they're like factories, man. We're all laying there. Half of us are sleeping. The other half are farting. They pump air into you when they do colonoscopies, when they do endoscopies. There's lots of air, and it's got to come out. And it's like, wow, I'm part of this now. I've actually become part of this. It's my world now. So I asked her for some propofol to go, and she said, "What do you think killed Michael Jackson?" I was like, yes, I know. It's a joke, okay? This woman, I think, genuflected at Michael's knee pads and was not having any of it. No, I'm serious. She wasn't. It was not amusing to her, and I thought it was hysterical. I thought, here I am recovering. I just had things, tubes inside my body that were put there by men I never met. Telemedicine being what it is, you don't meet your doctor anymore. I actually said to the doctor, he walked in the room, but he was behind the bed. He said, "Hey, Randy." I said, "Who's talking to me?" He said his name. I said, can you come over here and meet me? Because you're about to be inside my body. I need to meet you." And he said, "No, I can't. No, I can't."
Clear.
Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.